Dr. Kang Minho rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the computer screen again. The numbers could not be wrong. Something huge was moving toward Earth from deep space. Something that was not a comet or asteroid. Something that moved with purpose. He picked up his phone and called Dr. Park Yuna. She answered on the third ring, sounding sleepy. "Yuna, you need to come to the observatory right now," Minho said. His voice was shaking a little. "What time is it?" Yuna asked. "Minho, it's 3 in the morning." "I know, but this is important. Very important. I think we have visitors coming." Yuna was quiet for a moment. She knew Minho well. He never joked about work. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. When Yuna arrived at the Seoul Space Observatory, she found Minho staring at the main display screen. The image showed 3 large objects moving through space. They were not natural. They had straight lines and angles that nature never made. "How big are they?" Yuna asked, sitting down next to her research partner. "Each one is about 5 kilometers long," Minho said. "They're moving at 10% of light speed. They'll be here in 6 days." Yuna felt her heart skip a beat. "Are you sure these readings are correct?" "I've checked them 10 times. I even called the observatory in Japan. They see them too." Minho pointed at the screen. "Look at this. They're slowing down as they get closer to our solar system. That's not how rocks move through space." The 2 scientists stared at the display. The objects were clearly artificial. They had a strange, flowing design that looked almost alive. Parts of them seemed to pulse with soft light. "We need to call the government," Yuna said. "I already did. Colonel Kim Tae-ho is coming here in the morning." Meanwhile, far above Earth's atmosphere, Commander Thexamol stood on the bridge of the lead Velothi ship. His tall, thin body cast strange shadows in the blue light of the control room. His skin was almost see-through, and his 3 eyes moved independently as he studied the data. "Report," he said to his science officer. "The planet shows signs of massive development, Commander," the officer replied. "There are artificial lights covering much of the surface. We detect radio signals and what appear to be primitive spacecraft." Thexamol made a clicking sound with his throat. This was not what their ancient records showed. 30,000 years ago, this world had been home to simple creatures that barely knew how to make fire. Now it looked like they had built a basic civilization. "No matter," Thexamol said. "They are still just evolved animals. We will take back what belongs to us and leave." Behind him, his diplomatic aide Catherine moved closer. "Commander, perhaps we should be careful. These creatures have clearly advanced beyond our records." "Advanced?" Thexamol laughed, a sound like wind through crystal. "Look at their technology. They still use chemical rockets. They have not even left their own star system. We could destroy this entire planet with one ship if we wanted to. But the treaty with the Galactic Council says we must attempt peaceful contact first," Catherine reminded him. "Fine. We will ask nicely for our property. When they give it to us, we will leave. If they refuse..." Thexamol's eyes glowed brighter. "We will take it anyway." The next morning, Colonel Kim Tae-ho arrived at the observatory with Dr. Shin Ji-won, Earth's best expert on alien languages. They had never had to use her skills before, but the government had always prepared for this possibility. "Show me what you found," Tae-ho said to Minho and Yuna. The scientists explained everything. The objects were definitely artificial. They were definitely coming to Earth, and they would arrive in 5 days. "Do we know if they're friendly?" Tae-ho asked. "We don't know anything yet," Ji-won said. "But I'm working on a basic mathematical communication system. If they try to talk to us, we'll be ready." That afternoon, the alien ships entered Earth's solar system. Every telescope on the planet turned toward them. The world's governments went into emergency meetings. News reporters tried to get information, but most details were kept secret. The ships were beautiful and terrible at the same time. They looked like they were grown rather than built. Their surfaces moved and changed color. Strange lights traveled along their hulls in patterns that seemed almost like a heartbeat. President Han Mirai called an emergency meeting of the World Council. General Park Dong-wook began moving military forces into position, though everyone knew that conventional weapons would probably be useless against such advanced technology. On the second day, the alien ships reached the edge of Earth's solar system and stopped. They arranged themselves in a triangle formation and began sending signals toward Earth. Dr. Shin Ji-won worked around the clock to decode the messages. They were mathematical at first, simple equations and number sequences. Then, they became more complex. "I think I understand part of it," Ji-won told the emergency command team. "They're asking for something. The same signal keeps repeating." "What are they asking for?" President Han asked. "I'm not sure yet, but the signal includes images of Earth and some kind of coordinates. I think they're looking for something specific on our planet." Ambassador Lee Hee-jin prepared for what might be humanity's first contact with alien life. She studied every piece of information they had about the visitors. Captain Yoon Seo-jun trained his special forces team for any possibility, from peaceful meeting to hostile invasion. On the fourth day, the aliens sent a new message. This time it was clear enough for Ji-won to translate most of it. "They want to meet," she announced to the command team. "They're asking permission to land on Earth. They say they have a legal claim to recover lost property." "Lost property?" General Park asked. "What kind of property?" "The message mentions a ship and advanced technology that crashed on Earth long ago. They want it back." Colonel Kim Tae-ho studied the translation. "How long ago?" Ji-won checked her notes. "Based on their time references, about 30,000 years. The room went quiet. 30,000 years ago, humans had barely learned to make tools from stone. What could aliens have lost on Earth that long ago? And what did it mean for humanity now? Commander Thexmal watched the primitive radio signals coming from Earth. The creatures were trying to communicate. How amusing. Soon they would learn that the Velothi Empire did not negotiate with lower species. They would take what belonged to them and leave these evolved apes to their simple lives. But as Thexmal looked at the planet below, covered in lights and bustling with activity, he felt a small doubt. These creatures had changed a lot in 30,000 years. Perhaps this would not be as simple as he thought. The alien ship came down from the sky like a falling star, but it moved with control and grace. It landed in the Nevada desert, far from any cities. The ship was smaller than the main vessels, but still the size of a football stadium. Its surface rippled like water and soft blue light pulsed along its edges. Ambassador Lee Hye-jin stood behind a line of protective barriers with her team. She wore her best diplomatic uniform and tried to look calm, even though her heart was beating fast. This was the most important meeting in human history. Captain Yoon Seo-jun positioned his soldiers around the landing site. They carried the most advanced weapons Earth had, but everyone knew these would be like sticks and stones against alien technology. Still, they had to be ready for anything. "Remember," Hye-jin said into her radio, "we are here to talk, not fight. Let me do the speaking unless something goes wrong." Dr. Shin Ji-won stood next to her with a tablet computer. She had loaded it with every translation program and mathematical communication system she could create. "I'm ready to translate," she said. "I think I understand their basic language structure now." A door opened in the side of the alien ship, though no one saw any seam or hinge. The opening just appeared, as if the ship's surface had decided to let them through. Light spilled out, and the humans had their first look at beings from another world. The aliens were tall, much taller than humans. They moved like dancers, smooth and flowing. Their skin was pale and seemed to glow from inside. They had 3 eyes arranged in a triangle on their faces, and their hands had 6 fingers each. They wore clothes that looked alive, shifting colors and patterns as they moved. Behind the main aliens came floating machines that looked like metal jellyfish. These machines moved through the air without any visible means of propulsion, their tentacle-like arms carrying equipment and scanning everything around them. The lead alien stepped forward. He was clearly the leader. His clothes were more elaborate, and the others stayed a respectful distance behind him. When he spoke, his voice sounded like music played through water. Dr. Shin Ji-won listened carefully and typed rapidly on her tablet. The translation program worked, but slowly. He says his name is Kethrin. He represents the Valathi Empire. He says they come in peace, but with a legal demand. Ambassador He-Jin stepped forward and bowed slightly. Welcome to Earth. I am Ambassador Lee He-Jin, representing the United Nations of Earth. We greet you with friendship and hope for peaceful relations between our peoples. Ji-won translated as quickly as she could. Catherine listened, then responded with what sounded like surprise in his musical voice. He's surprised that we have a unified government, Ji-won said. He expected to find scattered tribes like the records from their previous visit. Previous visit? He-Jin asked. Catherine spoke again, and this time he gestured to one of his floating machines. The machine projected a hologram into the air between them. The image showed Earth, but it looked different. The continents were in slightly different positions, and everything was covered in ice and snow. 30,000 years ago, Ji-won translated, a Valathi exploration ship crashed on this planet. The crew was rescued, but they had to leave the ship and its cargo behind. Now they have returned to collect their property. The hologram changed to show the crash site. Even 30,000 years later, the humans could recognize the landscape. It was somewhere in Siberia, now buried under layers of ice and earth. He says the ship contained advanced technology that belongs to the Valathi Empire. Ji-won continued. By galactic law, they have the right to reclaim it. Ambassador He-Jin nodded. We understand their claim, but 30,000 years is a long time. We will need to study this matter carefully. Perhaps we can work together to find a solution. That benefits everyone. Catherine spoke again, and this time his tone sounded less friendly. He says they are not here to negotiate, Ji-won translated, looking worried. They are here to collect what belongs to them. He says they understand that humans have evolved since their last visit, but that doesn't change their legal right to, their property. Captain Yoon Seojin moved closer to the ambassador. Something in the alien's tone made him nervous. These beings might be advanced, but they didn't seem interested in being fair. The hologram changed again. Now it showed the massive ships in orbit around Earth. The image zoomed in to show weapons that could destroy entire cities. The message was clear. He's showing us their military power, Ji-won said quietly. He says they prefer peace, but they will take what belongs to them with or without human cooperation. Ambassador He-Jin felt anger rising in her chest, but she kept her voice calm. We are peaceful people, but we are not helpless. If you threaten us, you will find that humans do not give up easily. Behind Catherine, another alien stepped forward. This one was even taller and wore more elaborate clothing. When he spoke, the other aliens became very still and quiet. This is Commander Thexmol, Ji-won translated. He is the leader of their fleet. He says that humans are an interesting species, but they should remember their place. The Valathi have been traveling between stars since before humans learned to make fire. Commander Thexmol gestured to his floating machines. They began scanning the humans with beams of colored light. The scans made everyone feel strange, like ants were crawling on their skin. He's studying us, Captain Yoon said, probably checking our biology and technology level. Commander Thexmol spoke again, longer this time. His tone was cold and dismissive. He says humans have done well for a primitive species, Ji-won translated. But they are still just evolved animals. He says the Valathi will take their property and leave humans to their simple lives. But if humans interfere, the Valathi will consider them hostile animals that need to be controlled. Ambassador He-Jin stepped forward, her diplomatic training, keeping her calm even though she wanted to shout. Commander Thexmol, you underestimate us. Yes, we are younger than your species, but we have learned much in 30,000 years. We are not the primitive creatures your ancestors found. We have built cities, traveled to our moon, and created art and science that we are proud of. Commander Thexmol listened to the translation, then made a sound that might have been laughter. He spoke briefly. He says that human achievements are amusing, Ji-won said, like watching pets learn tricks, but they are still just tricks performed by animals. Captain Yoon Seojin felt his hand move toward his weapon. The alien's arrogance was insulting beyond belief. But Ambassador He-Jin caught his eye and shook her head slightly. Not yet. Very, Well, Hijin said, we understand your position, but before you take anything from our world, you must give us time to verify your claims and consult with our government. Surely beings as advanced as yourselves understand the importance of proper procedures. Commander Thexmol spoke to Kethryn in their own language. Then Kethryn addressed the humans. The commander grants you 3 days to locate the crash site and prepare the technology for retrieval. Jiwan translated. After that, they will take it whether humans are ready or not. He says this is more time than they would give to most primitive species. And if we refuse? Hyejin asked. The hologram showed Earth from space. Then it showed what looked like fire raining down from the Velothi ships. He says they will sterilize the areas around the crash site to remove any obstacles, Jiwan said, quietly. He doesn't care if human cities are in the way. Ambassador Hyejin bowed again, but this time it was not friendly. We will consider your generous offer. Thank you for this meeting. The aliens turned and walked back to their ship. The door closed behind them, and the ship rose into the sky without a sound. As soon as the aliens were gone, Captain Yoon spoke, into his radio. This is Yoon. The aliens are hostile. Repeat, the aliens are hostile. Begin defensive preparations immediately. Ambassador Hyejin was already calling President Han Mirei. Ma'am, we need to find that crash site, and we need to prepare for war. These aliens think we're animals and they're willing to kill us to get what they want. In orbit above Earth, Commander Thexmol watched the humans scatter like insects. Soon they would learn that the Velothi Empire took what it wanted. But first, he was curious to see what these evolved apes had done with 30,000 years of development. It might be amusing. The helicopters landed on the frozen ground of Siberia with a loud roar. Snow swirled everywhere as the engines wound down. Dr. Bexora stepped out and pulled her heavy coat tighter. Even in summer, this place was freezing cold. Are you sure this is the right location? She asked geologist Choi Woo-jin as he checked his equipment. The alien coordinates match perfectly with our geological surveys, Woo-jin said. Whatever crashed here is buried under 3 kilometers of ice and earth. It's going to take everything we have to reach it. Dr. Kim Sun-hee, the cultural anthropologist, was already examining the area. This region has always been special to local tribes, she said. The old stories talk about a place where the sky touched the earth, where the gods left gifts for humans. Behind them, the Velothi scientist Velthara emerged from her own transport. She was smaller than the other aliens, with silver markings on her pale skin. She moved carefully in the cold, her living clothes adjusting to protect her from the harsh environment. The bioscanners confirm it, Velthara said through the translation device. The ship is here approximately 3,000 meters below the surface. But, she paused, looking confused. The readings are strange. The ship's energy signature is different than expected. Engineer Nam Do-hyun fired up the massive drilling equipment they had brought from around the world. Whatever's down there, we'll reach it. These drills can cut through anything. The excavation took 2 days of constant work. The drilling teams worked in shifts around the clock. Alien and human technology worked side by side, human industrial, power combining with Velothi precision scanning. Dr. Oh Kyung-soo, the xenotechnology expert, monitored every reading. The energy signatures are getting stronger as we go deeper, he reported. But Velthara is right. Something is different about them. On the 3rd day, they broke through into a large cavern. The drill suddenly met no resistance, and the teams heard a loud echo from below. When they lowered cameras into the hole, everyone gathered around the monitors in amazement. The Velothi ship was there, but it was not what anyone expected. The vessel had not simply crashed and been buried. Over 30,000 years, it had been changed. Human hands had worked on it, generation after generation. The alien metal had been carved with intricate patterns. Stone tools had been used to shape parts of the hull. Primitive sculptures surrounded the ship like guardians. Incredible, Dr. Bexora whispered. Early humans didn't just find this ship. They made it into a temple. Velthara was silent for a long time, studying the images. When she finally spoke, her voice sounded shocked. This is not possible. Primitive species do not interact with Velothi technology, they fear it. Dr. Kim Sun-hee pointed to the cave paintings on the walls around the ship. Look at these images. They show humans learning from the ship. Generation after generation coming here, studying it, working with it. The paintings told an amazing story. The first images showed terrified humans hiding from the crashed ship. But later paintings showed brave individuals approaching it, then working with it, then celebrating with it. They weren't afraid, Sun-hee said. They were curious. They wanted to learn. Cybernetics expert Lim Jamin was studying the technical readouts. The ship's central AI core is still active, he announced. After 30,000 years, it's still running. That is impossible, Velthara said. The power systems should have failed millennia ago. Then how do you explain this? Jamin pointed to his scanner. The AI is not just active. It's been growing, learning. The system is 10 times more complex than it should be. When the teams finally descended into the cavern, they found wonders that changed everything they thought they knew about human history. The ship's AI core was a massive biomechanical brain that filled an entire chamber, but it was not alone. Primitive human tools were integrated into its structure. Stone knives had been used to carefully shape parts of its organic components. Bone needles had been used to connect different sections. The humans were helping it, Dr. Oh Kyung-soo said in amazement. They were performing maintenance and upgrades using Stone Age tools. The cave walls were covered with more paintings. These showed the gradual collaboration between humans and the AI. At first, humans brought food and water to keep the biological components alive. Later, they brought materials, metals, crystals, rare earth elements that early humans somehow knew the AI needed. Dr. Baek Sora found the most amazing discovery of all. In a side chamber, she discovered what looked like a classroom. The walls were covered with mathematical equations carved in stone, star charts made from bone and clay, primitive computers built from rocks and alien biocomponents. The AI was teaching them, she said. It was giving early humans knowledge, and they were helping it survive and grow. Velthara studied the chamber with 3 wide eyes. This changes everything, she said. Our records show no contact with primitive species. This should not exist. Dr. Kim Sun-hee was examining the most recent carvings. According to carbon dating, humans were coming here until about 500 years ago. Then the visit stopped, probably because the Ice Age ended and the area became harder to reach. Lim Jamin was interfacing with the AI core using both human and Velothi technology. The AI is trying to communicate, he reported. It's been waiting for someone with the right equipment to talk to it. What is it saying? Dr. O asked. Jamin listened to the translation programs working. It says it's been preparing, waiting for the Velothi to return, but also waiting for humanity to be ready. Ready for what? Velthara asked. The AI core pulsed with brighter light. New images appeared on the chamber walls, not carved stone, but holographic projections. The images showed Earth as it was today, with cities and technology and space stations. It's been watching, Jamin said in wonder. Somehow, it's been monitoring human development for 30,000 years, guiding it, helping it. The holographic images showed human achievements throughout history: agriculture, writing, mathematics, the wheel, metallurgy, steam engines, electricity, computers, spaceflight. Each development was marked with Velothi symbols. It influenced all of this? Dr. O asked. The AI responded by showing them the truth. Deep underground, spreading out from the crash site like roots from a tree, were biomechanical networks. They extended for thousands of kilometers in every direction. They connected to mineral deposits, electromagnetic fields, and even tectonic plates. The entire region is integrated with Velothi technology, Velthara said, her voice filled with awe and fear. But this level of integration would take millions of years to grow naturally. Unless something was guiding it, Dr. Baek Sora said, unless humans were helping it grow. The AI showed them one final image. It was a map of Earth, but not as it appeared to normal eyes. This map showed energy networks covering the entire planet, lines of force connecting every major landmass, power flowing between the continents through the Earth's core. The whole planet, Lim Jemin whispered. It's turned the whole planet into a single integrated system. Dr. Oh Kyung-soo realized what this meant. Commander Thexmol wants to extract the AI and all the Velathi technology, but if it's integrated into the planet's systems, removing it would be like performing surgery on Earth itself, Velthera finished. It could destroy the planet's magnetic field, cause massive earthquakes, even affect the atmosphere. As if responding to their conversation, the AI sent a new message through Jamin's interface. The translation was simple and clear. The children are ready. The test begins now. Above them, in orbit around Earth, Commander Thexmol was growing, impatient. 3 days had passed and the humans had found the crash site, but they were taking too long to extract the technology. Perhaps it was time to remind these primitive creatures who was in charge. But deep underground, in a cavern that had become a classroom 30,000 years ago, the real test was just beginning. The AI that had taught early humans to make fire was about to teach modern humans how to defend their world. Commander Thexmol stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Earth turn slowly below. 3 days had passed since the landing, and the humans were still digging around their crash site like primitive creatures scratching in the dirt. His patience was at an end. Open a channel to the planet, he ordered. The communication system activated, sending his message to every radio, television, and computer on Earth. President Han Mirai was in an emergency meeting when the transmission began. Humans of Earth, Commander Thexmol's voice echoed through speakers worldwide. You have had sufficient time to locate our property. We will wait no longer. You have 72 hours to extract all Velathi technology and deliver it to our ships. If you fail to comply, we will take it ourselves. The holographic display in the meeting room showed the true size of the alien fleet. What humans had thought were 3 ships were actually 3 fleets. Hundreds of vessels of different sizes, all bristling with weapons that could turn continents into glass. After 72 hours, Thexmol continued, we will consider any resistance as an act of war against the Velathi Empire. Your planet has resources we could use, but your species is not necessary for our purposes. Admiral Song Inhyuk studied the fleet positions on his tactical display. They have us surrounded, he said grimly. Even if we used every nuclear weapon on Earth, we couldn't scratch that fleet. Meanwhile, in Siberia, Dr. Park Yuna was working frantically with the AI core, trying to understand what 30,000 years of human-alien collaboration had created. The more she learned, the more amazed and terrified she became. The integration goes far deeper than we thought, she reported to the Emergency Command Center. The AI hasn't just been monitoring human development, it's been guiding it. Every major breakthrough in human history was influenced by this system. Dr. Ryu Minjae, the geneticist, had been studying biological samples from around the crash site. It's not just technological, he said. The AI has been influencing human genetics, too. Small changes, spread over thousands of generations. We're not the same species that existed 30,000 years ago. What kind of changes? President Han asked. Enhanced neural pathways, improved problem-solving abilities, faster learning, capacity. Every human alive today carries genetic modifications that trace back to this site. In orbit, Captain Yoon Seojin was discovering something equally disturbing about the Velathi. His reconnaissance team had been monitoring alien communications, and the translations painted a dark picture. They're not the advanced civilization they pretend to be, Yoon reported. Their empire is dying. Some kind of biological plague has destroyed most of their worlds. They need the AI not for pride, but for survival. Dr. Shin Jiwon had been analyzing intercepted Velathi transmissions. It's worse than that, she said. They don't just want their technology back. They consider humans to be their property too, since we were modified by their AI. The translation of Commander Thexmol's private communications was chilling. The modified creatures will provide excellent biological resources for the reconstruction of our empire. Their enhanced genetics will help us develop immunity to the plague. They want to harvest us, President Han said quietly. They see us as a crop they planted 30,000 years ago. General Park Dong-wook was coordinating Earth's defenses, though everyone knew conventional weapons would be useless. All military forces are in position, he reported. But we're preparing to fight gods with sticks and stones. That's when engineer Nam Do-hyun made a discovery that changed everything. He was studying the planet-wide energy network that the AI had shown them, trying to understand how it worked. The biomechanical routes that spread out from the crash site connected to more than just mineral deposits and electromagnetic fields. They connected to human infrastructure. Look at this, Nam said, projecting a map of Earth onto the command center's main screen. Every major power plant, every satellite array, every communications network, they're all connected to the alien system. Connected how? Admiral Song asked. The AI has been guiding human construction for thousands of years. We thought we were building our own infrastructure, but we were actually building components of a planetary defense system. Dr. Oh Kyung-soo was studying the technical specifications. The power grids aren't just for electricity, they're energy conduits. The satellite networks aren't just for communication, they're targeting systems. Even the positions of our cities form geometric patterns that can focus and direct energy. Energy for what? President Han asked. Lim Jamin was still interfaced with the AI core in Siberia. It's been preparing for this day, he said. The day the Velothi returned. Everything humans have built, every piece of technology we've created, was designed to work together as a single defensive system. The AI sent new information through the interface. Images of Earth's hidden capabilities flooded the screens in the command center. Mountains that could open to reveal energy weapons. Ocean floors that contained electromagnetic pulse generators. The planet's magnetic field itself could be turned into a weapon. The whole planet is a fortress, Dr. Park Yuna said in amazement. We just never knew it. But there was a catch. The system required human cooperation to function. Not just the government or military, but everyone. Every person on Earth would need to be connected to the AI network to make it work. It's asking for permission, Lim Jamin reported. The AI won't activate the defenses without human consent. It wants us to choose freely. What exactly is it asking us to do? President Han wanted to know. Temporary neural interface with the planetary network. Every human would become part of the system for a short time. Our enhanced brains would work together with the AI to control Earth's defenses. And the risks? Dr. Ryu Min-jae answered that question. Unknown. We'd be connecting 8 billion human minds to an alien AI system. We have no idea what that would do to us. In orbit, Commander Thexmol was growing suspicious. The humans were taking too long to respond to his ultimatum. Their radio chatter had increased and his sensors detected unusual energy patterns coming from their planet. Science officer, he called. What are those energy readings from the planet's surface? Unknown, Commander. The patterns are unlike anything in our databases. They seem to be artificial but using principles we don't understand. Thexmol's 3 eyes focused on the tactical display. Impossible. These creatures barely understand nuclear fusion. They cannot have developed energy systems beyond our knowledge. But the readings continued to increase. Power levels that should have been impossible for such a primitive species were building across Earth's surface. Commander, his weapons officer reported, our deep scans of the planet are being blocked. Something is interfering with our sensors. Blocked? By what? Unknown. The interference is coming from underground, but it's spread across the entire planet. It's like the planet itself is resisting our scans. For the first time since arriving at Earth, Commander Thexmol felt a touch of uncertainty. These humans were more advanced than his records indicated, but they were still primitives, still animals. They could not possibly pose a threat to the Velothi Empire, could they? In the Siberian cavern, the AI core pulsed with increasing brightness. It was ready. The network was complete. 30,000 years of preparation were about to pay off. All it needed was for humanity to say yes. President Han Mirai looked around the command center at the faces of Earth's leaders. They were asking her to make a decision that would affect every person alive. trust an alien AI system that had been secretly guiding human development for 30 millennia. Connect every human mind to a network that could either save them or destroy them. How long do we have? She asked. 68 hours until the Velothi deadline, Admiral Song replied. And if we refuse the AI's offer? Then we face the alien fleet with conventional weapons, General Park said. And we lose. President Han closed her eyes and thought about the children playing in parks around the world, the families having dinner, the students in schools, all the people who would suffer if she made the wrong choice. When she opened her eyes, her decision was clear. Connect me to every leader on Earth, she said. It's time to vote. The vote took 12 hours. Leaders from every nation on Earth debated through the night while the Velothi fleet waited in orbit like vultures circling their prey. In the end, the decision was unanimous. Humanity would trust the AI that had guided them for 30,000 years. President Han Mirai stood before the cameras that would broadcast her words to every person on Earth. My fellow humans, she began, today we face the greatest challenge in our history, but we do not face it alone. We face it together, as one species with the help of a friend who has been with us since the dawn of our civilization. Dr. Oh Kyung-soo and Lim Jae-min worked frantically to prepare the neural interface system. The AI had provided them with instructions, but the technology was beyond anything humans had ever built. Biomechanical components that could connect to human brain patterns, organic computers that could network millions of minds at once. The system is ready, Lim announced, but I have to warn everyone, we don't know what this will feel like. We're about to connect every human consciousness to an alien network. Around the world, people gathered in their homes, in community centers, in public squares. They held hands and prepared for something that had never happened before in human history. Dr. Kang Minho was at the Seoul Observatory with Dr. Park Yuna. Are you ready? He asked her. No, she said honestly. But we're going to do it anyway. In Siberia, the AI core had grown brighter than ever before. Its biomechanical components pulsed with energy that made the air itself hum. Velthara, the Velothi scientist, watched in amazement as systems she thought she understood revealed capabilities beyond her imagination. This is not possible, she whispered. The AI was never designed for this level of integration. Maybe it designed itself, Dr. Byaxora suggested. 30,000 years is a long time to learn and grow. At exactly midnight, Greenwich Mean Time, the activation began. 8 billion humans around the world felt a gentle tingling in their minds. It started as barely noticeable, like the feeling of déjà vu. Then it grew stronger. Suddenly, people began to sense things they had never sensed before. Dr. Park Yuna felt the heartbeat of the planet beneath her feet, the flow of magma in the Earth's core, the dance of electrons in the atmosphere. She was still herself, but she was also connected to something vast and ancient and wise. I can feel everyone, she said in wonder. Every person on Earth. We're all connected. Around the world, similar reactions spread like wildfire. Children in Tokyo felt the presence of farmers in Kenya. Scientists in Antarctica sensed the thoughts of artists in Brazil. For the first time in human history, the entire species shared a single moment of true understanding. But the connection was more than emotional. As the AI had promised, humanity's enhanced brains formed a collective intelligence that was greater than the sum of its parts. Together, they began to understand Earth's hidden systems. Engineer Nam Do-yeon felt his consciousness expand to encompass the entire planetary defense network. He could sense power flowing through underground cables, energy building in mountain ranges, weapon systems hidden beneath ocean floors. It was like becoming aware of muscles he never knew he had. The defenses are incredible, he reported. Though, he was speaking to the entire connected network now, not just to people in the command center. Every piece of human infrastructure is part of it. Our power plants can channel energy to weapons we never built. Our satellites can coordinate attacks using systems we never designed. In orbit, Commander Thexmal was becoming increasingly alarmed. His sensors were detecting massive energy buildups across Earth's surface. but he couldn't identify the source or purpose of the power. "Science officer, report," he demanded. "The energy levels are off all our scales, Commander," came the panicked reply. "It's like the entire planet is powering up for something, but that's impossible. We've scanned their technology. They don't have planetary-scale energy systems." "Override their primitive networks," Thexmal ordered. "Send them a final warning. If they do not surrender immediately, we will begin bombardment." But when the Velathi tried to send their message, something unexpected happened. Their transmission was intercepted, analyzed, and blocked by systems they couldn't detect or understand. On Earth, Colonel Kim Taiho felt the alien communication attempt through the network. "They're trying to contact us," he said. "Should we answer?" The collective human consciousness considered this for a moment that lasted nanoseconds in real time, but felt like hours in the accelerated thinking of the network. The decision was unanimous. Captain Yoon Seojun, speaking for all humanity through the network, sent a reply that reached the Velathi fleet in their own language. "We have considered your ultimatum. Our answer is no." Commander Thexmal's 3 eyes widened in shock. The message had come in perfect Velathi, using communication protocols that these primitives should not have known. "How did they?" he began. Then Earth's defenses came online. Mountain ranges across the planet split open to reveal weapons that had been growing underground for millennia. The weapons were unlike anything in Velathi databases. Biomechanical cannons that used Earth's magnetic field to accelerate projectiles to near light speed. Ocean floors erupted with electromagnetic pulse generators that had been hidden beneath tectonic plates. The pulses were focused and directed by a satellite network that had been disguised as primitive communication systems. Most shocking of all, Earth's magnetic field itself began to shift and change. The planet's natural electromagnetic defenses, strengthened by 30,000 years of alien enhancement, formed a barrier that could deflect even Velathi energy weapons. "Impossible!" Commander Thexmal screamed as his fleet's weapons fire was absorbed harmlessly by the planetary defense grid. "They're primitives. They use chemical rockets." Admiral Song In-hyuk, his consciousness expanded to encompass orbital defense platforms that had been disguised as space junk, coordinated the counterattack. "Target their flagship," he said, and 8 billion human minds focused their collective will on the task. The biomechanical weapons that emerged from Earth's mountains fired in perfect synchronization. Projectiles accelerated by planetary magnetic fields struck the Velathi ships with devastating force. The aliens' energy shields, designed to stop conventional weapons, were overwhelmed by attacks that used principles they didn't understand. "Their shields are down," reported the collective consciousness of every human radar operator on Earth. Dr. Ryu Minjae, connected to biological sensors hidden in Earth's atmosphere, analyzed the alien ships in real time. "They're not as advanced as they pretended," he announced to the network. "Their technology is actually inferior to what we've built. They've been bluffing." The truth was revealed as the battle continued. The Velathi Empire was indeed dying, their technology stagnant for millions of years. They had relied on intimidation and overwhelming force for so long that they had stopped innovating. Meanwhile, the AI that they had abandoned on Earth had continued to grow, learn, and develop in ways they never imagined. Velthara, still in the Siberian cavern, watched the battle through the AI's sensors. The ship was never just a crash, she realized. It was a seed that grew into something greater than the empire that planted it. As Velathi ships fell from the sky around Earth, Commander Thexmal made a desperate decision. If he couldn't have the AI, he would destroy it and the planet with it. He activated his ship's final weapon, a singularity bomb that could collapse Earth into a black hole. But the collective human consciousness was ready for this too. Dr. Oh Kyung-soo, his mind expanded to encompass quantum physics principles he had never learned, reached out with the planet's electromagnetic field and safely redirected the singularity into space, where it harmlessly evaporated. "How?" Thexmal whispered as his flagship began to break apart around him. The answer came from 8 billion human voices speaking as one. "We had a good teacher." The battle lasted only minutes, but when it was over, the Velathi fleet was defeated. Some ships fled back to deep space. Others surrendered and requested asylum. Commander Thexmol's flagship crashed into the Pacific Ocean, where it was quickly secured by human forces. As the neural network connection gradually faded, humans around the world found themselves changed by the experience. They had tasted what it felt like to truly understand each other, to work together as a single species with a common purpose. Dr. Park Yuna stood in the observatory, looking up at the stars where the alien fleet had been. "We did it," she said to Dr. Kang Minho. "We actually did it." "No," Minho replied, smiling. "We didn't do it. We became it. We became something new." In the Siberian cavern, the AI core pulsed with what might have been satisfaction. The test was complete. The children were ready for the next phase of their development. And somewhere among the stars, other worlds waited for the same guidance that Earth had received. The age of humanity as a single planet species was ending. The age of humanity as a galactic civilization was about to begin.